Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm Superfiend and welcome back to Planet Coaster Whacky World. So we're just here zoomed out looking at what we were doing last time, and we're going to continue in this episode with this theme of decorating this area to look like a jungle. And I kind of want to focus on this area here of the park. I want to see if we can do some terraforming in here. Make this little area look interesting. I don't think we'll get to it this episode, but I kind of want some terraforming to go up and over this building and kind of down over here in some way, and so that this is really hidden. Okay, it's got to live up to its name. It is the hidden temple, and we want that to be true. Now, before we start doing all that, really quick, in the last episode, we put together this little clump of foliage here, jungle brush, and then we just duplicated it all over in here, and it actually turned out looking very good just by simply using the same thing and doing some rotations. But I do want to have a little bit more variety, and this is why I made it a building, because now when I want to make an adjustment, I can click this whole building, whoops, didn't get there, and just remove the whole thing at once. Okay, and that's very convenient. That's going to be very convenient as we make more of these and move them around. So we're going to make a couple more of these this episode, and then we are going to decorate in this area. And really quick, before we do it, I just want to check on the staff, because we've been having some problems with the recent update where all the workers had low workloads and they were just all miserable. And it actually, where'd our janitor go? Or no, we lost our mechanic and we had to hire a new one. So now his workload is right there. Let's just look at these guys real quick and see how they feel about their job. Okay, that person's pretty happy. Job is great. My pay is fair. I'm so happy to work. Woohoo. All right, now all the shops are pretty busy. And let's just look here. Are we missing sales? What's going on here? We're not missing any sales. We missed a couple. We missed a lot at the hat store, and we missed a few in here. And are they saying things like it looks too busy? 31%, 17%, 36%, 31%. So, all the workers are happy. You would think they have a high workload if it's so busy that people are being turned away. So something is really screwy here in the simulation. And what we're going to do, just to see what happens, is we're going to pay all these people just a little bit more, and we're going to see what happens. I'm going to just copy and paste. If you didn't know you could do that in this game, it's really nice that they support it. And let's just go ahead and give each of these guys training and see if they become miserable again. And really quick, where's our attractions and shops? The shops, they're all open. All the rides are doing good. Freaky Flyers is starting to age. So let's pop over here. Where is it? And let's just rebrand it. And, oh, we got some old ones. Okay, let's rebrand the Carousel. Let's just do this real quick. The Whirly Rig. I don't know why I have such a hard time saying that. And we got the little arrow here. One of our early roller coasters. And where's the other one? Twisty Turny. It must be getting close to aging. We can't rebrand it quite yet. Okay, so there's a high interest in all the rides. Look at this queue. Did this thing ever even fill up all the way? It's getting there. We probably need about, double the number of people in the park for that thing to fill up. And let's just look over here. Everyone's good. Let's look at the guest slots really quick. It doesn't matter too much because we are, well, sort of making money. And these bars, these indicators, they really haven't changed much in about, 30 episodes. And let's see, our research is all done. And we got the Basilisk. I don't know what that is. It looks like it could be a launch coaster. And we got another coaster, Full Swing. I don't know what that is. Maybe that's the one where the little cars move independently of the coaster car. The little seats, spin around. Okay, multiple rides have no insurance. Enough of that nonsense. Let's get over here and let's get back to designing. This series has turned almost into a sandbox series, even though it is challenge mode. All right, so let's hop in here, and now that we've made this building, let's just duplicate it, and let's move it over here. And let's see. We want to sink it down. Oh, to about there. And now we'll edit this one. And let's see. And we'll just pull some of these things out of here. And then we'll just make some minor adjustments and it will be a whole new building, right? That's easy to do. We already did the hard work once, so let's just use that hard work as the basis for our new work. See how clever that is? And I've started recording the time-lapse episodes that I hinted at a few episodes for blueprints. And I actually do have some blueprints up now in my Steam workshop for Planet Coaster. I've got 2 blueprints. Well, I've got a few other blueprints, but as part of the time-lapse series, I got 2 blueprints with 20 small pirate shacks available for your consumption. Enjoy. And let's see here. It looks pretty good. And I'm going to be working on some more. Right now, all of the blueprints are just 1x2 little pirate shacks. I've got 10 of them are wood buildings, and 10 of them are brick buildings. And they all have the same decorations on and around the buildings, and then I just swapped out the walls. So, real handy, and it builds on the idea of using the work that you already did. You know, once you get a handful of buildings, you know, like 10 wood buildings, and you say, okay, I like these are good, then build on the work that you did and duplicate them all and just take the walls out and, you know, set up a nice rough brick, pick some good colors or something like that, and then use those as the basis for your new buildings. Okay, and that's pretty much what I did in that series. Okay, let's lower this down a little bit. Okay, and then now let's take these 3, get them out of there. Okay, so now we got a whole different clump, and let's just move it over here. See, so they look different, and that's nice. And how many objects? 33 objects. We got 30 objects in this one. Let's take this one again, and let's see. We'll sink it down. Now about there, looks good. And we'll edit. And let's see. We'll take the tall stuff out. Is that tall? Yeah. That's still kind of tall. So let's see. On this one, we took basically the tall tree and sunk it down a little bit. And then we took this tree here and added 3 of them. So let's focus on... Oh, I don't know. This tree this time, right? Let's do this tree this time. So we'll just bring that in. Okay. And going back to that time-lapse series that I'm working on, I did some other little tricks in there as I was building those buildings to speed things up. And basically what it boils down to is I created came up with what I think is a clever way to kind of have all your walls and windows pre-built, and also things like supports and other decorations that you would put on or around the buildings. And then when you build like a little 2x1 shack, and then you go over and you select those pre-built things, the hard part typically is getting them to snap back onto the walls and everything so that it all looks good. But I found a way to kind of use them like Lego pieces. And when I get those videos up, if you head over and you watch them, you'll maybe see what I mean, although it does happen kind of fast in the video because it is a time lapse. But I think you'll like it. I think you'll enjoy it. I certainly enjoyed it. The only thing I'm not sure of is if I picked a good music choice for those, but I suppose people who watch it will let me know if they dislike the music or not. Okay, so that one's pretty good, and let's move it over here. Now what I'd like to do, I wonder if it would work. I kind of want one that has lots of more taller trees, you know, because the idea is, well, you know, kind of like the terrain here. If you want a nice looking dense forest, towards the outskirts of the forest, you get the shorter, smaller brush, and as you move inwards, you get the larger, really built up stuff. And so I'm wondering if it would work to just do something like this. Let's see. I imagine it will. So let's just do what we've been doing. Take the one we started with, pull that out. All right. Oh yeah, I forgot to lower this one down so that it sits on the ground. Okay. All right. So let's see here. What happens? Actually, let's move this guy out of here, and let's move this guy out of here, and let's move this guy out of here, right? And I think we can get rid of these two. Seems like we had an extra one of those. And kind of set these like this. And I kind of want these ones to be a little bit tighter, you know, everything a little bit closer together. I'm just going to kind of smush all this in here. And I'll lower this just a little bit. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. Okay, so now the idea is, what if we take this? I mean, this is really kind of stupid, okay? But it could work. What if we just raise that up like that so that the roots and things are out, right? Oops, I want to Control X and duplicate it. Okay. And you're thinking like, wow, this is kind of silly. Where are you going with this? No, I didn't want to do that. Move it over here a little bit more. Okay. Now let's take, let's see. Is there one of these? What is this? This is an ash tree. I kind of want one that, okay, that does appear to be that one. This is one, this is two. Okay, let's try it with this one. And let's just move this in and lift this up. Okay. And now you're thinking, oh boy, buddy, what are you doing there? This is really dumb. It's floating. Okay, it's floating. Oops, I meant to duplicate that. And the answer is, I don't think it'll matter. Okay, so let's see. Let's pull this over here now. So let's imagine that some of these got really tall. All right. I don't know that it will matter that I'm doing it like this. We'll see. Kind of an experiment. But if this works, it'll be kind of easier to simulate tall jungle brush without having to do terraforming to raise the ground up to set our other little things on. And that will maybe make more sense in a few minutes. So let's pull this over here. Okay. Let's kind of wedge this guy in here and lift him up. Okay. And let's do another one. Go about like halfway. See, and the idea here is, it already is kind of working. Whoops, Control X. Is that the leaves of these like palm leaf things, they help to cover the fact that you can't really, that you can see that these things are floating. They help to hide it. If I can get my usage of the English language correct. That one, okay, that one I think is a little bit too far outside. Let's see here. So let's just move him a little bit more back in. Okay. And let's duplicate. And the other thing too is if you just bring them straight down, it makes it look like a multi-tiered tree. And so that kind of works too. And in fact, you know what? I think I like that idea. So we'll do that and just, rotate it a little bit. Let's see if we can get one of these ones. Okay, I'm such a dummy sometimes. I mean, now that I'm doing this, it seems so obvious, but I never thought of it in, I don't know, like what, 100 and whatever hours of playing Planet Coaster. Funny how that stuff works, huh? Okay, so let's see. And now these two, whoops. Let's see, I want this one and this one. I almost feel like, Let's see. You know what? They're fine. They're fine. Okay, now let's do this one. Just go down. And this one way in the middle there, I think if we just do it like one time, it'll take care of it. And then this one. Okay, so Superfiend buddy, you still got floating trees. Why did you do that? Because I think it'll work like this. Okay, so let's duplicate this. Let's jump way out. Let's just do it over here. And so let's see. Okay, so we got to lower this down. All right, and so now let's see which of these is the tallest, right? This one is pretty much the tallest. So if we do a Control X, and let's just a Control X, and we use the world axes, and watch what happens when we do this, right? Control X. Oh, I don't know about like that. And then let's, oh, they're buildings. Let's see if this will work. We can't advance duplicate multiple buildings, because if we could, then we could just spin them around. Like when you're editing a building and you put two pieces of the scenery and you clone them both and then you spin them. What are these things? Oh, that's from when we were working on the Lost Temple over there. All right, so let's see. And let's get this nice little short one right here, right? Watch this. So, you know, now that I've done that, and let's see, this one is still floating a little bit. It needs to be at least on the ground like that. Okay, and then let's just take this one. And, you know, this works actually pretty good. And I think I want to spin it so that this taller one kind of moves in a little bit. Or actually, you know what, that ended up looking pretty good. And where's that little short one again? Let's see, let's get this guy over here. All right, so you can see that once you surround the floating trees with the ones that are a little bit shorter, you really can't notice that they're floating anymore. Okay, everything gets pretty well covered up, and even from here where you can kind of see it, you know, you really got to be looking for it. And if you just, you know, if we just did that, and actually this one right here where you can see the roots, that kind of works because some of the trees in like the rainforest, they get those weird root structures that get really big and they grow out like that. But you could always, you know, duplicate it and hide it up like, you know, hide it like that. And I think it actually works pretty good. So let's take all of this, let's delete it. And let's look at these guys again real quick. They're still happy. All right, so maybe it's working out all right. All right, so let's set this building over here. So here we have 4 different clumps of jungle brush that we can go and add around the scenery. So let's do what we did last episode. Let's do it again, okay? And let's see. Let's set this one like right here. Okay. And we're gonna duplicate it and drag it over here and rotate it. World axes. Okay. And let's duplicate it again, and let's just set one of them right here along the path, because I kind of like the palms all out facing the path. I think that kind of looks good. Okay. So we do that. And then we got to cover up that little spot right there. So we're going to go over, we're going to get our little short one here. And we're going to use that to cover up the spot. And we're going to use the tall tree to set it in there, like so. Okay. And then you say, well, good job, buddy. Now you went and you covered up your steps. And to that I say subtract. Subtract, subtract, subtract. Okay, see? So we get that in there, and then we can go edit this building. And here's another nice thing: when you make little Lego bricks like this, you can just go take things away. Okay? Don't like how something ended up? Take it away. Make a minor adjustment. Slide these in. Put them right there. Duplicate them. And there you go. We took our little Lego brick piece and used it to cover up that little floatiness. And we got to do something over here. And then we took another one we took the little Lego brick to cover up the you know, the mistake of the tree floating. And then we just introduce some variety in just that one little piece. And then that way, not everything ends up looking the same too. And let's go ahead and just like cover up these roots, because I don't like them visible like that. All right, look at that. And that looks pretty good, doesn't it? Let's see. I feel like we could sink these all down just a little bit lower. Okay. And that looks pretty good to me. And we'll have to remember to come back over and take care of this one. Actually, an easy way to do it, you know, just sink it down right here. Just grab that one tree that's the problem and sink it down. And then if we go into the terraforming tool, and let's see, we don't want 15 meters, and maybe about 48, right? And then just very gently go around the edge here. Oops, there we go. And look at that. Looks pretty good, doesn't it? I think it looks good. So let's go over and let's see, we were using this one, we use that one. Let's grab this one right here. And let's set him over in here. And we want to just drop it down. Let's see. Oh, to there. And, you know, I'm not going to worry that the tree is poking out of the building there. I don't really care. And let's see. And then we'll just spin this one around like this. And shove it over this way. And, okay, yeah. My OCD kicked in. I can't leave it there. I gotta move it over just a little bit. Okay, see, there we go. But I mean, look how well this works to just make these pieces like this and stick them in here. And if you want a lot more variety, then, you know, make 7 or 8 of them, and then just use the same 7 or 8 things to decorate everything. Oops, I want to grab a whole chunk, and let's see. Oh, let's grab this one again. I think that was the one we grabbed last time. Let's rotate it like this. Okay, and then let's sink it down, and we'll let it come in and grow over this a little bit, and it actually interacts nicely with our pillar and stone pavilion there, whatever you want to call it. And then we'll grab this one. See, so, you know, as we move back in, the forest is taller and more dense, and then as you get out here, we move on to the little shorter shrubs. And let's see. Which way can we rotate this to get it to interact with the scenery the best? Okay, I think we want the bushes more growing over the stones. And then let's see, if we move it up to about right there. And then, so we got a little bit we can fix in here. And the way we'll do that is we'll just grab these two and this one and, you know, just sink them down. I think we can sink this one down a little bit further. I think we can sink this one down quite a bit. And let's see if we can get in there. Okay, now this is the part where it gets a little tricky. Is trying to get in there and grab things that are way in the middle of it. But you know what? Worked okay. I like it. I'm happy with it. Nice and dense. Ooh, jungle brush. All right, and then let's go ahead, not grab that one, because after you make individual adjustments to one of them, you typically don't want to duplicate it and drag it somewhere else, because then you'll just end up trying to undo the small adjustments you made. Okay, let's grab this one. And let's see. Okay, so this one... Okay, about, let's see, oop, had to go down farther than I thought I was going to. Okay, so that one we can go to about there. And if we slide it out, and we select it and we edit. Let's see. Kind of want to move some of this, and these ones in the back, if we can get them. We don't really need them because they're going to go into the rock here. So we'll just take out those ones, and then we'll just slide it back in, right? And I think that works pretty good. And then over here, let's edit again, and let's just take these two, and let's duplicate them. Okay, move them down a little bit. Let's take this one, get it back in here a little bit more, and move it down. Okay, we take this one, move it down a little bit. Okay. And I think that looks good. And then another thing that we can do too, these areas along the path where you get the little gaps here, you could go in and you could put like little pieces of stone or other things, other little artifacts. You could add some of the, let's see if we can find them here, the bushes. We'll get rid of this. You could add some of the planted flowers and things, and make it look like the park staff kind of comes along and plants them, or throw in some of these red leafy bushes just to get a little bit of color and decoration along the paths. You can line the paths with different pieces of the building scenery that's non-grid, and then hide benches inside of it, and the people will sit on them. And so that'll, you could do all those little tricks too. And let's see, what else do we want to do here? Let's go ahead and let's get a couple more done over here. And let's start thinking about what we want to do in that area. Let's see. All right, so we're just going to go ahead. And remember, we can always take things away, okay? We can always take away what we put down. All right, so I think I want this one to kind of go like that. And then we'll just sink it down to about there. Okay, and then we'll slide this in. Okay. And I think I'm just going to reuse this piece. We'll go to World Axes. And I'm going to turn it a little bit more so that the bushes, the low-lying bushes, the scaevola or whatever it is, ends up more around the brickwork and all that stuff. Okay, all right. Okay, so now we got some more floating trees, and let's see, what do we do? Can't really tell with some of them. And let's go ahead and get the terrain, and now let's just kind of pull this out just a little bit. Okay. This is where we're going to start to see, what is this going to look like? Because I really don't know. I have no idea how to do, how exactly I want this to work. I kind of got some vague ideas in my head, but I don't know if any of them are going to work, to be honest. Okay, let's take these pieces. They're part of that building. Let's move them over here. So we want to be careful that we don't delete them. That would be bad. And let's go back to our terrain. And let's see. Okay, and I'm just going to kind of roughen this up. Now, I kind of think I want this to be more filled in. Okay. Okay, but not too much over here. I don't want to overgrow the stonework too much. Okay. And I kind of want this to be... Oh, I kind of want it to be mountainy. I'm not sure. Well, let's just see. Let's see what we end up with. All right. So I'm doing lots of clicking. I'm happy with the brush size. I think it's working out okay. And part of me wants to have like a tunnel with some more stonework, so it looks like there's steps leading down over to here. So it's like, they walked over here, and then I don't know what we'll put in here. I kind of imagine putting some stuff over in here, like a little fire and some tiki torches and a few bushes, but this is really cramped, so I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit that in there. We'll see. And I don't really want to make this any bigger because then it encroaches on all this stuff over here. Although if we did make it bigger and it kind of swung out this way, then maybe they could have a cool view out of, I don't know, a hole here, out of the little passageway that leads to the steps. I don't know, maybe that would work. I don't know. Just thinking out loud as we go there. Okay, now let's see. And then let's kind of fill it in over here. Now, the more I think about this area, the more I think I actually do want this kind of all filled in around the path here. So I'm going to start raising this up. And just seeing what we end up with. I kind of like the idea of, you know, bringing up a little barrier here, but now we got a problem. The path and the coaster car, they're not letting us do it. So we might have to go into the game settings and play around with the collision a little bit. And where the terrain is starting to cover up the stonework, we'll go back in and try to clean that up, you know, as part of the finishing touches if we feel it needs it. There, so let's just keep going with this. You know, and I kind of almost want this to go up here. Okay, now this thing kind of needs to go straight up for a minute, and it's going to look really dumb. And hopefully it will make sense later when we come back to it, probably in another episode. Okay. Don't think we're going to get to do everything I wanted to do in this episode. We're getting quite a bit of it. Alright, let's see. Yeah, see, I really want this to... I want to close this off, I think. Yeah, let's see. How are we gonna work this? I'm not quite certain yet. Not certain. And I kind of like the idea that this is a tunnel in the cliff face and the coaster goes through it. So let's go ahead and just implement that. If we can, let's see how much of the building gets covered up, you know, in the process of doing that. I don't know what it's going to be. And then, of course, remember that later on, as the park gets more fleshed out, we'll go into the we'll pick the custom biome, new feature that was added in the last update, and we'll pick some custom terrain paintbrushes to paint all the scenery and get the exact look and feel that I'm going for, that I imagine in my head for, you know, for things like sand and the lagoon, and then for the Old West area, there's some specific terrain paintbrushes that I think would work very well for those areas, and so we'll be adding that at some point in the series. I don't know, once you pick it, I don't know if you can go back in and change it, so I'm kind of hesitant to do it right now because I just don't know how it works. If anybody does know and you want to leave a comment, that would be awesome. And let's see. Okay, let's just bring this up here. And I'm trying not to, you know, grow into the building. Although I imagine, well, actually, because we got this corner piece in here, if it grows into the building a little bit, it's going to be really hard to notice. Okay. All right, I think that's looking pretty cool. And you know, I'm half in, I'm half out. I'm flippy floppy on if I like the fact that this pillar is in the rock wall here. I don't know. Okay, now on this side, I want to be able to go in and use the roughen terrain tool a little bit. And so we need to get this wall thicker, or the roughen terrain tool is just going to make a bunch of holes in it. And let's see. You poking through over here yet? Not yet. And I don't want to cover up these little stone thingies, so be careful to avoid them. And let's just see, as we raise it up here with the path, you know, the path is going to kind of block the terrain from moving over there. Okay. Now this part, I don't think we're going to be able to get the terrain up very high here. Now what we might be able to do... this looks ugly. This doesn't look good. Whoa! Now we got a coaster support up there. Okay, interesting. Alright, let's just try something here. It's starting to look like that seawater alien thing in the abyss. Any minute now, Sigourney Weaver's head is going to come out of it. Oh, crap. What happened? How did I end up over there? Excuse me. Alright, let's see. There we go. I don't know like how much of this we're going to end up keeping, but I'm just kind of filling this in for now to see, you know, what's the overall effect? How does it end up looking when we do this kind of stuff? And again, you know, digital medium, all we lose by doing these kinds of experiments is time. We don't really lose money, because I don't make enough money on these videos to, you know, support myself. And time is, well, you know, I'm doing this anyway, so I'm not really losing much by experimenting. And if you don't like it, you know, you just pick the flattened to surface area and you can just, you know, bulldoze it all away very quickly. Okay. And I would like to kind of like make this building look a little bit better, you know, kind of more like a Lost Civilization building. Right now it kind of, you know, it's too square. I think we have to go back and dress it up a little bit, although I'm not sure exactly how, but we'll think of something. Okay. We don't have to solve all of the world's problems in one go. Oops, I clicked over there, but the path is in the way, so it didn't do anything. Okay. Now, see, I kind of like the idea here that you can kind of peek through there, and you can kind of see what's going on. I don't like that this is so perfectly flat, so we'll want to push some of this away and roughen it up a little bit. And this doesn't look enough like the other architecture that's behind this mountain for me to be completely satisfied with it. And I'm also not sure about this path coming out of here like that. And actually, let's see. One of the nice things about doing this little experiment is, well, I don't know. I was thinking the path could kind of come out this way more and kind of go over the terrain and then come down over here somewhere. But that might be bringing it too close to the monorail track. I don't know. We'll see. We'll work on those things, you know, as time goes on. Okay, but now let's get out of the terrain tool. But now this ride really is starting to live up to its name of the Hidden Temple. And the reason I'm kind of bringing this terrain way up here like this is I kind of imagine that there's a rocky formation up here and that this track is kind of moving along the top of it, and then you like fall down the mountainside through the top of the temple, something like that. And so that's why it's kind of built up like this. And I know it looks very artificially stupid at this point, but you know, just like over here, it will shape up and it will look good. I think we'll be able to make it look pretty nice. And then of course when you're down here in these little areas, you get these nice little views here, you know, as you like walk up the hill and you see the people go up over that, and that looks pretty fun. Looks pretty neat from right here, I think. And then right here, you know, if we can do this right, you make this look like a mountain, and they're like going up the mountain. You say, wow, that looks so tall, because this thing right here, you know, looks really tall and impressive. And then this is even taller than that. So it kind of gives that illusion. And it is pretty damn tall, to be honest. How high is that? Where's the results? Biggest drop, 30 meters. So it's like, you know, it's like 100 feet in the air. All right. I think that's going to be it for this episode. Let me get the camera in control. Thank you so much for watching. Tune in for the next one, and have yourself a great afternoon.